In recent months, the Indo-Pacific has become the region of greatest tension on the planet. The United States on one side, China on the other, and in the middle, Taiwan, the small rebel island. The US can project its military power over such a distance thanks to its unrivaled fleet of aircraft carriers. The Asian power cannot say the same. In fact, until just a few years ago, China's main aircraft carrier was a discarded Soviet ship, which drifted for decades and, at one point, nearly became a casino. The history of Liaoning is full of misadventures, lies and risky bets, which is why today we'll get to know it in depth in this new video from Military Aviation. To understand the problems of the Liaoning aircraft carrier, we have to go back to the early 1990s. Back then, the Soviet Union was trying to get within range of the US Navy, which was already emerging as the most powerful on the planet. There were plans to develop a fleet of 3 aircraft carriers, but the economic meltdown and the end of the Soviet bloc put an end to those dreams. The Soviet Union only managed to complete the first of those ships, the Admiral Kuznetsov. The second, the Varyag, was at 70% construction, since it was still necessary to complete the power plant, the navigation systems and incorporate all the weapons. The ship was assigned to the young Republic of Ukraine, which did not know what to do with such a gift. Completing and operating it was beyond the economic capabilities and military needs of the country. That's when China comes on the scene. In 1992, the Asian nation took an interest in the unfinished ship, beginning a story worthy of a movie. The negotiations were quite problematic. Ukraine put clear conditions on the table: the ship, or rather the incomplete hull, was not to be used for military purposes. The problem is that China wanted to use the ship to build an aircraft carrier. The negotiation was cut short until 1995, when, in a wonderful detour, the Chinese made an offer through the Chonlat travel agency. It was a shell company based in Macau, which claimed that the ship would be transformed into a luxurious casino. No wonder, at the time, another Chinese company had bought the aircraft carrier Minsk to transform it into a theme park, which turned out to be true. To the delight of the Chinese authorities, the purchase was made in 1998. The unfinished but already launched ship began its long journey to the Dalian shipyards. But soon the euphoria turned into headaches. The first problem of the future aircraft carrier was that it had to wander for 16 months in the waters of the Black Sea. This was due to the impediments that the Turkish government placed for such a mass to cross its territory. Following an agreement with Turkey, the ship reached the Mediterranean Sea. The terms of the pact are not known, but at the time the payment to let the old Varyag circulate was estimated to be astronomical. Nature also put its own obstacles. Near Greece, the transport ran into a huge storm that left the ship adrift. After several weeks, the Chinese ship reached the Strait of Gibraltar and, except for a forced detour to the Suez Canal, it was finally able to proceed normally to its destination. Beijing's future aircraft carrier reached Asian waters only on March 3, 2002, after a 3-year odyssey. China spent 10 years refitting the Soviet ship Varyag, which eventually became the aircraft carrier Liaoning, which entered service on September 25, 2012. Although there are no official figures, it is estimated that the upgrade cost more than the development of the American Nimitz aircraft carriers, which have a value of $6,500 million. Even the modern Chinese carrier Shandong was cheaper, and that required an investment of around $9,000 million. By all accounts, the purchase of Liaoning was a disastrous gamble. Now, let's get to know the military characteristics of this controversial aircraft carrier. The Liaoning has a length of 302 meters and an official displacement of 58,000 tons. It has conventional propulsion, consisting of 8 boilers and 4 turbines. Its design has a faceted profile and sloping edges, which reduces its radar marking. Originally, this ship was not designed as an aircraft carrier, so it presents certain limitations for such use. The ship's power plant never reached the projected top speed of 32 knots, or 59 kilometers per hour. Lacking catapult launchers, its top speed makes planes unable to take off with their full load of weapons and fuel. To remedy this problem, the ship has a raised bow, known as a sky jump, to facilitate takeoff. Another particularity is that it was designed with numerous anti-ship missile silos, something rare on aircraft carriers. The Chinese took advantage of that space to expand the hangar and build storage warehouses. The Liaoning has a wide variety of defensive and offensive systems. Among its main armaments are Flying Leopard missiles, a Chinese system equivalent to RAM missiles. It also has a CIWS, short for Proximity Weapon System. These are Type 11 30mm multi-barrel cannons, ideal for destroying enemy drones or missiles in mid-flight. The ship has 3 18-tube launchers, 2 forward on each side, and 1 aft on the port side. On the other hand, the anti-submarine defense consists of 12 tube launchers with 240mm rockets. To round out its defensive capabilities, the Liaoning can launch decoys to fool enemy anti-ship missiles, although this is outdated technology that does not present an obstacle to current missiles. On paper, these qualities should make the Liaoning a maritime beast. The problem is, it was born already old. Remember that the hull was built in the early 90s, and that it spent a decade at sea with little maintenance. In short, it is a 30-year-old ship, whose motorization and navigation technology is far behind current developments in aircraft carriers. From constant power plant issues to a lack of basics like catapults, the first carrier in Beijing's service is plagued with limitations. China has an impressive production capacity and has managed to significantly improve that incomplete and disassembled ship it bought from Ukraine. The problem is that the cost was too high, and currently the Asian power needs to renew itself to face the conflicts that are coming in the Indo-Pacific. There lies the importance of the Shandong, an aircraft carrier of national construction, with a design similar to its predecessor but with improvements in terms of dimensions and displacement. With this new ship, those commanded by Xi Jinping overcame in every way the fiasco that started as a casino but ended up as a nightmare. If there is one thing that can be said about China, it's that it does not give up easily. Despite the failure of its first aircraft carrier, the Asian nation is modernizing by leaps and bounds, and, today, its navy is among the most powerful on the planet, at least in quantity. With no roulette wheels or poker tables, Liaoning is one of the strangest chapters in that story. Thanks for joining us until the end. If you liked this video, don't forget to subscribe and activate notifications. We'll meet again in the next episode of Military Aviation.